continuing our list of top 1 million or 100 from 1982.
Too many.
You know what? 1982 was just a big year for metal. There was a lot of it.
I really didn't realize how much until we did this, because I thought 1980 and 81 were bad.
And we left a lot out.
Yeah, we did.
So
yeah, we did. You're right. I mean, granted, in the grand scheme of things, worldwide, we left tons more out than we included.
Right.
But the stuff that was meaningful to us and for many others in our age bracket.
Yep. A lot of them got off. But anyhow, next up, this is the UFO had lost their guitar hero in Michael Schenker.
Yep.
Gained Paul Chapman. But even though UFO lost Schenker, we gained
Michael
Schenker Group.
Yep.
M.S.G. This was his first live album, which I think was a little premature for Schenker. Didn't have enough material for a live album.
No.
So this contains mostly songs from M.S.G.
Yeah, only 2 albums out, and there's a...
And I think there's only 1 song from the second album, right, on here, if I'm not mistaken?
Sleeping Dogs Lie, On and On.
Oh, okay,
all these are the second album.
But then you've got a couple UFO rock, one UFO?
Doctor,
that's it. Gary Barden on vocals. Gary's a very unusual vocalist, but I liked him.
I like him too. It's kind of like his German accent comes out.
And his live voice, like I've heard a lot of, now you get to hear all these BBC recordings,
right? And
his live voice is always a little weak,
compared
to his studio voice, but it sounds good on here.
Yeah, great singer, singer. And then he changed singers later on in the year, obviously, because when Assault Attack came out, we had Graham Bonnet, who's one of the most unique sounding voices in hard rock and metal.
Yep.
I mean,
but doesn't look the part at all.
Yeah, sang with Rainbow prior to this, and went on to do Alcatraz with Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yep.
So I can remember that he did.
Impalatory, he did Impalatory.
Oh, he did?
Line, yep.
Okay. Cool album. Really great songs on here. Assault Attack, it just comes out just nasty, just double bass, kicking your ass right from the ghetto. The get-go. We're mixing metaphors today a lot. Then, Rock You to the Ground is another just a churning kind of da-da-da-da-da, like a heavy, heavy blues kind of thing. And then you go into Dancer, which is they were trying to have a hit single. And, that's what it sounds like.
She's a good dancer. It's a good song.
It is. It's a good song. I'd rather hear a group that's honest and brutal with their approach most of the time, trying to be commercial on 1 or 2 songs, than I would a band that's trying to make their whole career
out of it.
Yeah. I don't mind it. That's fine. It's kind of dynamic.
Dancer was released as a single, and I think I actually have a couple versions of that single. I don't know that it did so well for him.
I have a 12-inch too. I think we forgot to grab it. Desert Song, Broken Promises, Searching for a Reason, and Ulcer, which is a great instrumental. Another great Schenker instrumental in the vein of Captain Nemo. Well, Captain Nemo was later. I'm sorry. Into the Arena. And there's one more cut off that is I think it was on the EP, the Dancer EP. I think it was called Uptown Girl. That wasn't on the full length.
That song, Uptown Girl?
No, not that one. I think this one predates the Billy Joel song. But great album. Very strong album from M.S.G, who had just come off with 2 really strong ones. This one probably didn't do as well as the other 2, but, changes in the lineup happens. Great stuff.
You know what I forgot to mention about this one? Right here?
Chris Glenn?
Paul Raymond.
Is that Paul Raymond?
Paul Raymond, guitarist.
That's Paul.
That's Paul. Yeah.
That's Chris Glenn.
What was I pointing at?
This one.
Oh, no,
I can see why you did. Yeah, Paul Raymond, that's right, from UFO. I forgot.
Right there.
Yeah, but he's gone again as far as Assault Attack, so that was short-lived. Yeah. But he was on the M.S.G album.
And then
I don't know if he was on Michael Schenker Group. He might have been.
And then Cozy Powell.
Yeah.
Cozy Powell, yeah. Another one is gone.
Yeah, that's right. Several years ago now.
How many of you guys are gone? It's amazing. In the 1980 and 81 video, I tried to list all the guys that have gone. This one's going to be insane.
Yeah.
So
Bobby, I just read an interview with Bobby Liebling of Pentagram just last year, the year before. Just recently I read it, and he said something like, in the last few years, like 126 different guys that are involved in the hard rock and metal scenes have died. It was like just this ridiculous amount of people. Okay, perspective, yes. Okay, hard rock and heavy metal musicians do tend to overindulge in certain areas.
Especially the 70s and 80s.
Oh yeah, totally. Bobby included. Yep. More so than most, probably. Love you, Bobby.
I was watching a documentary on Sweet, and
yeah.
that's just...
We lost a couple of those guys too.
Yeah, singer... names
Brian Connolly.
Brian Connolly, thank you.
Yep.
Man, what a sad story.
I think was it Steve Priest,
Yep.
Tucker. I can't remember the guy's name.
But anyhow, yeah.
I can't remember it all.
Just a lot of them are just sad stories. So
Yeah,
okay,
right.
moving on. We're rambling again. We
are.
tend to do that, you know.
It's going to be a long one.
Squirrel. This next one could have been in my top 10. This one rocked my world. Not so much as the one before it, but almost as much as. This is Raven, Wiped Out.
Great album.
Great album, horrible album cover.
Yeah.
I didn't like it when it came out. Still don't think it's very good. They tried revamping it on the CD version. It's still not very good.
It's like, just leave it alone now.
The back cover I actually kind of like. I like that kind of rambling bunch of photos all slapped together. Classic.
Yeah, instead of them all under a pile of their equipment, it's,
Yeah.
it's a pile of photos of them.
I can't say this one that Rocky Till You Drop was my first one. It's my favorite. It's the first one I heard. But this one's just as good. There's not a bad song. Faster Than the Speed of Light.
Yeah.
Didn't the Crash Bang Wallop EP also come out at the same time?
Which I love.
We should have included that in this
Sorry
year.
about that one.
Crash Bang Wallop. But regardless, Wiped Out could have been in my top 10. I don't know why it wasn't in our top 10.
We just couldn't fit it. There was so much.
But
we
again,
just could
this
not
is,
fit it.
like a couple of the ones that are going to make our top 10. This one could have been in our top 10, and this was a precursor to thrash metal, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Speed metal, thrash metal, athletic rock. Call it what
When
you want.
I
It's Raven.
interviewed John in '87, he said people would call him the godfathers of thrash. He didn't really understand it. I can see it.
Oh yeah.
There's an energy there, and there's a speed that wasn't.
Yeah, there's
really
the
present.
speed and the energy and that heavy, the down picking, that you know, that they didn't. There wasn't a whole lot of bands doing that.
Yeah, I mean, these guys influenced a ton of people that came after them, and as usual, the innovators don't get as much of the credit.
Right.
But yeah,
They toured
Raven,
with Metallica
for sure.
and Anthrax, right? It was Metallica, Anthrax. That would have been a show to see.
I mean, the stuff that they spawned, it overshadowed them in the end, unfortunately. And Raven's still around; they're still kicking ass.
Unfortunately
like
for
few
Raven,
are.
I think they made it was the mistake of going to the big label and listening to the big label.
Yeah, yeah.
that
Raven
killed them.
Couple albums, they
were going up, and Awful One came out, and then the live album came out, and then all of a sudden they were on Atlantic Records, and
and even the fans were like really vocal about, guys, we love you. What the hell are you doing?
yeah, because then the package back, it was like Spiral. It's a shame too
Stay
because
Hard was that the other one that was kind of
iffy. That was okay too, but they redid a song on there that they kind of like lightened it up from the first album, and
the Spencer Davis song.
No.
Give Me Some Lovin'?
No, they redid a song on Stay Hard from the first record.
Oh, was it Hard Ride?
Hard Ride.
Yes.
And they kind of lightened it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I mean, who knows? I mean,
whatever, but you know,
to the Raven fan, okay, it's just part of the story.
and they have a brand new album that just came out.
Yep.
Just came out, and I actually have it. I love it. It's a great record.
But the album that came out after that little foray into commercialism, Mad, it was an EP.
Mad EP.
They were back with a vengeance. That kicked ass.
Yep.
So they were like, sorry guys, we don't know what we've been thinking. Here you
go. And then Nothing Exceeds Like Excess.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Totally. They were back.
Anyhow, we ramble a lot.
Yeah, we
Wiped Out. Hope you guys don't mind us rambling. Squirrel.
Squirrel chicken. All right, what we got here? Still solidly in new wave of British heavy metal ground.
Sound-wise,
country, whatever.
If you can call that a sound.
Doom as a genre wasn't really defined yet. There are a couple of bands doing it. Well, I don't know. That might even be early for St. Vitus.
A little early
And
for
Trouble.
Vitus,
Yeah, I mean, they were
Trouble
within the next
was-
year or two.
Round, yeah.
So Witchfinder General were one of the first that were doing the Sabbath sound very early on in
Pentagram.
'82.
Pentagram was
Pentagram
before
was
them.
there.
Yeah, but they
were
weren't really
there.
known.
Their first album, the proper album, didn't come out till '85, so
Yeah.
nobody really knew. But,
And then Candlemass was a couple years later.
Sure. But Witchfinder General, great stuff. Definitely infamous for the cover.
You can't show that. You can't show that on video.
I will cover her nipples.
There you go.
What's wrong with being sexy?
It's-
Joanne Latham, who total crush on Penterfold Centagram.
There you go.
Penthouse Centerfold.
Can you say it 3 times fast? I can't say it one
can't
time
even
slow.
say it. Yeah. Was dating the singer Zee Parks, and so appeared topless on the cover like she's the witch and they're killing her. She also appeared on their second album, Friends of Hell. After that, I guess they probably broke up. But I mean, how often did you see a fully bare-chested, granted, well-endowed model on heavy metal album covers that wasn't you know, suggested or covered in some way. I mean, this is just full on. Her boobs are just hanging out there. Not only that, but they're slicing her throat as well.
I remember when that came out. I'm pretty sure the version I bought was clear vinyl, and I just thought that was so bizarre at the time. I'd only ever seen one other one. I had a 7-inch by UFO that was clear vinyl.
Yeah, it is odd. This one is clear.
Clear vinyl.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It looks like it's in great shape, but it's hard. That's what I hate about colored vinyl. You can't see the scratches.
Yeah.
So whether or not it is, who knows? But
anyhow, Doom.
Very early Doom
before it was called Doom. Yeah.
It definitely. I mean, there were a few others out that were doing it. Sabbath being one of the main ones. There were a couple other new wave of British heavy metal groups, like Witchfinder was one that was kind of in that area as well. Territory. That's the word I was looking for. And there's another one. Witchfinder. There's another one. I can't remember them. It's not there. It's not there. Great record. Pretty short, but still pretty cool. They had a couple of singles that came out prior, or at least one. The Burning a Sinner single came out. It was good stuff. It's raw. Most of the new wave of British heavy metal kind of tread the fine line between hard rock and punk, and they just had that kind of that DIY attitude, and I love it. It created a genre that really spoke to me. Is this it?
Nope, we got two more.
Okay.
So I guess, are you next or I'm next?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we got another American band, another one like Riot, that just never saw quite the success.
They definitely saw a little bit more than Riot.
A little bit of success, but
thanks
or the Rods, another one that just, but a little bit more than both those bands, but Y&T, and this is one of the trilogy of their classic albums.
Yeah, the Metal Robot album covers. This was #1, the Black Tiger.
Black Tiger,
and
fantastic version of it.
Mean Streak had the robotic snake, and then the third one where they were running out of ideas had the robot named Rock.
Yeah,
a little goofy, but this one and Mean Streak.
And then the album that preceded those two, which was Earthshaker. Those are the ones I consider their classic.
Oh yeah, those
classic trilogy. Yeah. I love this album. We actually have a Japanese pressing of this, which I didn't bring.
Just saw them about a month ago too, and Dave Menichetti's the only member still touring with them.
And there's another one. We lost
Phil Kennemore.
That's right, bass player. A few years ago.
Leonard Hayes still kicking. He just did something with him recently. Leonard Hayes, a kick-ass drummer too. Joey Alves, the other guitar player, no clue what happened to that guy.
I don't know.
But Menichetti, he's still got the voice and he's still got the chops. He sounded awesome when I saw him a month ago, and I wasn't expecting much. He sounded great.
Now, these guys were heavy. They had a heavy sound, heavy production, but they had hooks.
Yeah.
Commercial hooks.
And Menichetti, one of the best lead guitarist, lead vocalist pairings I've ever heard. How many lead guitarists are the lead singer in the band as well? How often do you get that?
Or the other guitar player who's the lead singer, they don't
kick quite as much ass.
Right. Exactly. That's it.
He does, both of them. I mean, listen, if you haven't, get the Open Fire live album and the song Open Fire that they open the set with. Listen, not even so much even evident on the studio version. The live version, listen to the way he's shredding and singing these stratospheric notes. It's killer.
It's just I'm trying to look on here if there was a bad song, and there's just not.
No.
And this was produced by Max Norman, who did Ozzy and Megadeth's Countdown to Extinction. He did Dirty Looks. He's done so much stuff. Max Norman. He's a very well-known producer, and a lot of stuff he does has that edge.
Yeah. This is a great album. This is probably their gutsiest album. As far as I moved to the Bay Area right around the time this came out, and I remember hearing them on the radio. I heard Hell or High Water on the radio, thinking, it caught me immediately. I was like, who the hell is that band? I got to find out.
I think it was Mean Street was the song, or Mean Street, that was the first song I had heard by them.
Yeah.
Which was I remember them playing that on Metal Shop.
Great song.
Yeah.
Great song. And they didn't open with it when I saw them, but they did play it, which I was psyched about. They played Black Tiger. They played Midnight in Tokyo. They played Rescue Me. Stuff from the Earthshaker album. Played pretty much.
Now I hear some Y&T.
We got to spin some. And we got to hear Y&T today and some Manila Road, because that's a new one for me.
We keep talking about these and I don't want to hear them. So all right, so this next one is
this one's kind of odd. This isn't the original release for this.
No, the choice we had in here was Merciful Fate. Nuns Have No Fun.
Yeah, the Merciful Fate EP came to be known as Nuns Have No Fun. Had a really pretty controversial cover for at the time. It had this woman
Had a
who was
woman crucified.
presumably a nun, bare-chested. It was a drawing, not a picture.
She's crucified, right?
She had some bikini underwears on. I ain't gonna put my underwears on. Underwear on with a pentagram, you know, right there, and with a bunch of like druid skeleton death head kind of priesty things around it. And I remember seeing it going, famous last words, I will never listen to that band. Said it with Venom, said it with Pentagram, all that. Anyway, but Merciful Fate, they didn't really need the kind of satanic gimmick that they had, because as far as metal went, in these early 80s, that sounds great, they had it, man. They had it over so many bands. They had this most unique sounding voice at the helm.
Those falsetto vocals.
And some of the best riffs and just song parts.
Yeah, the dual guitar stuff.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Incredible
stuff. So they did a repackaging of that Merciful Fate EP in 1987, and they called it The Beginning. They changed the listing of the songs. It just ran in different order. But they also added some live cuts and the demo version of Black Masses that came out right before the Melissa album came out. So it's kind of a cool collection, a little bit different cover. They even changed it again for the CD release, and same idea. Just neither of us had the original Merciful Fate EP on vinyl anymore.
Nope. So next up is going to be